Meet Jessica Smithson. Like us, she loves social media. How much can a stranger find out about her? So let's recap. What do we know about Jessica? She likes pop music and pop culture. And the last thing she voted on was Team Edward. We also know Jess grew up in Miami before going off to college to spend 4 years as an advertising major. Now she's in her first job in Chicago. We even know what street she works on. She has a boyfriend named Chris, a dog named Cookie, and she loves to play tennis. We even know her favorite liquor. And let's not forget her favorite color, pink.
After watching the social awareness video on Jessica Smithson, I looked to Kantianism ethics to find a resolution regarding her privacy issues on the internet. New media technologies for social networking have transformed our society's practices, and it is important to analyze the ethic behind this to find a way to solve this issue. I think the issue of privacy is rooted in the issue that information is distributed so freely amongst people online, and a way to solve this might be by settling some strict rules to regulate accessibility of people's individual lives. The article that talks about the social network constitution from our class discussions brings forth many great fundamental rights that should be upheld in order to regulate social networking in our lives today. The first right that I think is important to mention is the right to connect. As stated in the article, the right to connect is essential for individual growth, political discourse, and social interchange. In other words, no one should have the right to monitor exchanges over the internet or code them as to sources or content like the government or another federal agency. When watching Jessica Stimson's video, I noticed I was most bothered by the fact that one could access the locations that she's located in. For example, her work. There was a map that showed the street that she was on. This leads us to the third right, which talks about the right to privacy of place and information. Every individual should have the right to privacy, including the right to having security of their information and their security of place. As the article states, regardless of the active security settings on an individual's device, social network sites are private places and they should be upheld in this way. The second rights coincide with each other: the right to control one's image and the right to due process of law and the right to notice. These two rights are very important to control because it has to do with other companies using your personal information in order to network, market, or advertise. Through social media, a person creates a certain image for themselves in which they want to reflect their public persona to the audience. Commercial companies do not have the right to access this information for other usages without their consent. Under Kantianism, if everyone follows this universal maxim, there should be less issues with people complaining about invasions of privacy or data access that is illegal. It is important in our society for every individual to respect one another, especially with such powerful media forces publicizing our everyday lives.
Utilitarianism is of two types. One is rule and another is act utilitarianism. Act utilitarianism is based on the consequences, which means whether the consequences of the action are good or bad. Here, Jessica's all information are revealed through different social networking websites. Due to this, all of her information from her home address to where she works is revealed. This way, privacy of a person is breached by any stranger. Nowadays, employers use the social networking website to get information about employee and use that as screening for the prospective employees. Looking at these consequences, it leads to unhappiness and bad condition compared to the greater good. As it leads to a bad consequences, Act Utility believes social networking leads to a break of privacy. Rule utilitarianism just believes in greater happiness rather than the consequences of the action. Here, posting the information and posting on social networking website leads to a happiness of Jessica. It doesn't matter for you rule utilitarian whether privacy of Jessica is maintained or not, but it gives happiness to Jessica. So according to rule utilitarian, so posting on social networking is good. It is not bad whether the privacy is breached or not.
When we talk about the social contract theory regarding this specific scenario, we have to understand what community Jessica belongs to and lives in. When we look at her social media, we can see that she's a very active Facebook and Twitter user. That behavior, most likely than not, is due to the influence her community has on her morals and her. Morality consists in the set of rules governing how people are to treat one another, that rational people will agree to accept for the mutual benefit on the condition that others follow those rules as well. Social contract. It is right for one to act according to a moral rule if rational people would collectively accept it as binding because of its benefits to the community. The information she provides on her social media for everyone to see tells us that she just graduated from the University of Michigan. We can safely assume that she's in her mid-20s. Her community is formed by the people that surround her family, friends, and her boyfriend. Her friends, that more likely than not are about her same age, are probably just as involved on social media as she is, which makes her behavior and actively participation on social media completely predictable and completely normal.